connect again. One second. There you go, seamless.
Yeah, great, perfect.
There you go, seamless.
Hi, David. Yeah, we are waiting for you to start. Right. So, should we wait for you? In a minute. Okay, we'll wait. Okay. My apologies. We are waiting for a minute because he's finishing the previous meeting. It's our Chief Strategy Officer, and he's gonna welcome everyone. So we can't start without him. And please, while you're not speaking, mute your mic. Otherwise, there is. Yeah, someone with the mic on. Yuri, could you please check who's with mic on and close it?
Yes, of course.
Because you probably hear that as well, right? Probably this is David.
So yeah, now everyone except for you is muted.
Yeah, let's check.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, great. Yeah, so I believe we can start. Everyone is in. No. Why am I hearing myself? That's wrong.
Hello, everyone. Yes, I think we can start.
Yeah. There's just an issue with the sound for some reason that wasn't like that before. Yuri, can we do anything about that?
Hello, everyone. Yes, I think we can start.
Victoria, could you hear me and then my echo as well?
A little bit, Nastya, but I think we can start maybe with David Rose or myself. So if we've got any issues with your sound, so we move on to our agenda then, so not to be distracted. Yeah, please.
No, I'm very happy to welcome everyone. So with that, let me do that. Let me welcome everyone to the call. It's lovely to see sort of many familiar faces. This is the third MediaTech pitch event that we've hosted. It's also lovely to see many new people continuing to join us with everyone that we host. I think MediaTech is such an important strategic sector for us at Raw. We really believe there is opportunity to disrupt both commercial, and product through innovation in this sector. So that's very much the reason that we're an active investor in this space. So clearly, an objective today is to learn more about businesses we believe are innovative. And again, today we've got 4 great startups that we'll all hear from. Just as important is for us to build a community in this sector. I think a really effective way of doing that is to host events like this, where we've got the opportunity to give feedback, alongside workshops that we'll also be hosting. So again, we hope in time that this will grow into a real home for conversation and community about MediaTech. And really, with that, I can waffle on and talk for a long time about the sector.
No,
however, it's much better to introduce immediately our 4 companies.
Yeah. So I just want to add a few things that this online pitching is a chance for startups to raise up to 1 million euros, not just to showcase their ideas. And also, David mentioned our community. If you're not there yet, please join it. You can find the link in YouTube. It's a community that we're building where startups can meet investors, they can apply for next online pitching and get the support from a very welcoming peer community. And please know that this pitching session is being recorded for further analysis and will be posted in already mentioned Discord MediaTech community. And this is a show time finally. And our first speaker is Ivan Jimenez and his Milum. Milum's mission is to improve people's well-being by teaching them to play an instrument with an initiative approach that adapts to the needs and interests of today's market. And I'll pass the mic to Ivan.
Hello, everyone. Let me share the screen and we'll get cracking. Okay, so we're Melum. Our objective is to be the benchmark in online music education, being the first proposal that combines music and well-being on a large scale. We therefore cover 3 markets: music, wellness, and education, EdTech. Our traction for the last few months, we've actually managed to make it to the press, national press in Spain. We show very positive unit economics. We've managed to double up our user base while reducing the churn rate from 22% to 4% currently. ROAS, ROMI, lifetime value, CAC metrics are very positive, which have helped us increasing our monthly recurring revenue up 54%, exceeding 6,000 euros a month. And our user reviews continue to be very close to 5. The problems that we've identified are actually 2. Health-wise, 1 in every 4 people will suffer from a mental health disorder. Anxiety and depression are on the rise, 25% in the last couple of years. And this is, among other things, that impacting society and family and friends is impacting SMEs across Europe and America alone, with a figure of 32.1 billion euros a year. This is according to the World Health Organization, the latest report from 2022. Education-wise, elevated churn rate figures across the board on e-learning, on music e-learning especially, is reaching 60%, which is very high. Our solution and value proposition is supported by science, which keeps on demonstrating that playing an instrument improves mental health and well-being. And therefore, our own methodology and technology are helping already people to learn how to play from zero successfully while improving their well-being on the way. Our product is designed to have a formula that helps us achieve reach, engagement, and retention, which is the 3 key elements. How we do this is eliminating access barriers, making accessible, affordable, giving a free instrument for every annual subscription, offering personalized and adaptive learning, generating a network effect, combining community, partners, and artists, and ultimately putting the user in the middle, empowering them and giving them ownership of their progress. In terms of technology, we've developed what we call for now the AI music coach, which is helping us to provide personalized and adaptive learning to the user, while it's also helping us predicting churn and acting accordingly to reduce it. The AI music coach fits from the user behavior in terms of basic things such as their likes, their desires, but also each interaction the user has with the platform. And we also feed our assets, our own methodology, and around content. We're working with the MTG, the Music Technology Group of the University Pompeu Fabra in Barcelona, to develop all this. The market size is huge. We're talking 900 million people globally, and this is being fed by 2 streams. One, we like to call it the vitamin, which is the desire that 7 out of 10 people do want to.
Sorry, excuse me. Sorry. I think we lost your shared screen. Could you bring the screen back up?
Oh,
thank you.
Yeah, it's coming. Sorry about that. Technical issues seem to be hitting us today. I don't know. Should I go back a bit?
Yes, please. Couple of slides, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So The problem, health and education. I'm not sure if we got to this one, but according to the World Health Organization, 1 in every 4 people will suffer from mental health disorder. Anxiety and depression have been on the rise for the last couple of years, up 25%. And this, apart from the social impact and family and friends that this has, is also impacting SMEs across Europe and America alone, with a figure of 32.1 billion euros a year. Education-wise, e-learning has a very elevated churn rate. In music alone, we're talking 60%, which is very high. Our solution value proposition is supported by science, which keeps on demonstrating that playing an instrument provides and improves mental health and well-being. And our own methodology and technology are already allowing for people to learn how to play from zero successfully and improving their well-being on the way. Our product is designed with a formula that is helping us achieve reach, engagement, and retention, which are key for our business. We eliminate access barriers. It's affordable, it's accessible. We offer the personalized and adaptive learning while generating a network effect, combining community, partners, and artists. And we're always putting the user in the middle, empowering them and giving them ownership. In terms of technology, we developed what we call the AI Music Coach, which provides personalized and adaptive learning, as well as allowing us to predict churn and act accordingly to reduce it. And the AI Music Coach feeds from two streams. One is our own assets, our methodology, and our content, but it's also being fed for every single interaction the user has with the platform, as well as their desires, their motivations, their availability, and their level. We're working with the MTG, the Music Technology Group in Barcelona, as part of the Pompeu Fabra University, to develop all this. The market size is huge. We're talking 900 million people, quantified in 800 billion euros in the combination of those three markets. And it's fed from two streams again. The vitamin, which is the desire that 7 out of 10 people want to learn how to play an instrument, and the medicine, that is the 8 out of 10 people consider important investing in their well-being. We also speak to our community constantly, and 90% of our users are citing that stress and anxiety is one of the reasons for them to actually want to start learning how to play an instrument. Our go-to-market strategy is based on 2 pillars, capture and retention. We capture working with artists and opinion leaders, partnering with the music industry, and giving a free instrument with each annual subscription. The last 2 come from partnering with the music industry, as me and my partner, we both have like long history working in the music industry. And retention, which comes from change cost and motivation. Change cost is mainly driven by personalization. Every user is going to be investing a lot of time and effort in personalizing their dashboard. They're going to have their badges, their certifications, their favorite tracks, their favorite lessons. So that's going to make it hard for them to abandon. We could be thinking about Spotify, for instance, on that sense. All the above is allowing us to have very strong competitive advantages that some of the key players in the market, like Simply or Musician, simply don't cover or don't pay attention to them. We're an impact project. We're a triple impact project from the foundation. We always keeping very present the definition of health. According to the World Health Organization, it's not only the absence of illnesses or diseases, it's a physical, mental, and social element, the combination of the 3. We have a very strong team, senior, very dedicated, covering all angles of what we need, from music business to health, education, marketing, finance, and very strong music industry. Our business model is B2C, which is been like that from the beginning, monthly and annual subscription. And for the last 4 months, we've been working on the B2B. We have a few pilots with a few companies in Spain. Latest report from the World Economic Forum is pointing out that the ROI of companies investing in the well-being of their employees is 2.56. So there's already some companies there understanding that 32.1 billion euros impact on the economy is a lot. Our financial forecast is ambitious, but it's also realistic. We expect to break even end of next year, and we expect to have an EBITDA of 35 million euros by the end of 2027. By the time we will be in Latin America and working with the Hispanic community in North America and Canada. Our investment destination, we're looking for 200,000 euros to strengthen our competitive advantages, increase our market share, and therefore increase our monthly recurring revenue through further development of our technology and products, producing new content, covering new instruments, and pushing all that through the sales funnel and building more partnerships. And you might ask to put a close to this, why invest? There's a few things here. One of the key ones is that 92% of the equity is still owned by founders, so we haven't diluted that much. The team is key as well. Is a brilliant team, and we really understand our target because we've been working in the music industry for many years, so we kind of understand the audience, those 900 million people, very well. And that's all. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Ivan Jimenez and Milum. I'm myself a big mental health advocate, so I'm very impressed with your idea. And this is time for questions. Dear Zoom guests, if you want to ask a question, please have your camera on and raise your hand, physically or virtually, so I can hear your intention. And please introduce yourself before speaking, and don't forget to switch on your mic. And people who watch us on YouTube, I know that there are dozens of you right now, send questions via chat and I'll happily deliver them to our teachers. Who wants to ask first?
Hi, hello. Hi, thank you very much for your presentation. My name is Maria. I'm investment director for Raw Ventures. I wanted to ask, so you mentioned that your go-to-market strategy is very much focused on the B2C, and we've seen an impressive graph of your rising user base and sort of diminishing churn rate. But I wanted to understand a bit more about your marketing strategy and specifically about your marketing budgets, how you're planning to achieve quite an exponential growth from currently, from what I understand, 45,000 per year, and you want to finish the year at 1 million annualized sales, right?
Yeah, we expect to at least 50% of the revenue for this year. We expect it to come from B2B. One of the reasons why we are strongly believing on that is that a new addition to our team is Pablo Escaf, who was a former partnership director for Netflix for Spain and Portugal. He's a total music fan. He knows the industry and he understands the players that we could partner with. We're talking big brands like IKEA, banks, and beer companies in Spain. So we expect at least 50% of the total turnover for this year to come from B2B, and on the B2C side, I didn't manage to include in the presentation, but we also working on some machine learning models that will help us optimizing our marketing campaigns, especially building the audiences and defining the audiences that we're targeting and to who are we launching our campaigns. The channels are going to be pretty much standard in terms of Meta, Google Ads, but we're also working on events, on like wow events, like grabbing 20 users, taking them to a very nice fancy house in the outskirts of Barcelona, bringing a couple of artists and actually building an experience. Those events tend to have quite big media impacts and result in how can I say it in plain English, is when you see something like that and you haven't actually been there, you want to be there. So we're combining all those things, also partnering with music festivals in Spain, getting access to their community, like BBK or Primavera Sound. We're also working with those festivals so that they can offer Melum to their users. So it's a combination of all those, optimization of PPC campaigns, partnering with festivals that will give us access to a massive amount of people that should be interested in our product, and then the B2B.
How about influencers?
How about?
Influencers.
Also influencers. That's where artists and opinion leaders come from. Yeah, and that's one of our strong points, I guess, because Victor, my partner, he's always been working in the music industry in Spain for over 20 years experience. I've been working in Spain, in the UK, and in the US and Mexico, also with record labels, management, covering all aspects. So our contact with artists, record labels, publishers, and management companies is really fresh and is very accessible. So we can count with artists, so to speak.
Victoria Palati, CEO of Raw Ventures.
Hello, yes, I'm Victoria, CEO of Raw Ventures. Thank you very much. Amazing presentation. And I immediately thought about maybe I should pick up on my piano skills that I've, as a child, used to practice some. So definitely go ahead and try your product. I've got a couple of questions regarding the future fundraise rounds. Are you planning to fundraise further? And do you have any ideas regarding the amount, or when are you planning to do that?
Yes.
And question number two, so what is your exit strategy? How do you see your potential exit? Thank you.
Questions, both of them. Yes, we're buying so this round is a seed round. We had a pre-seed round last June of 100,000 euros, and we are counting on another round more to scale up further of 1.5 million euros in the first quarter of 2025. And the exit strategy is going to be either that round of first, second quarter of 2025. Let's see how 2024 shapes up after that 2023 that has been quite harsh in terms of funding. So that will be an opportunity for exit, first half of 2025. And we're also always contemplating the fact that Spotify could come around any day and show interest on us. It's perfectly doable. As well as Meta, Google, there's a few places, record labels as well. We talk to Warner, Universal, Virgin constantly, and they are starting to see an interest on this as an additional revenue line for their artists. So there's a possibility of Spotify coming and buying us out, so to speak, or a record label. Tencent is also on the table. They're kind of putting their hands all over the place, and this could be very interesting because of the mental health impact. So yeah, hope I've answered the question.
Yeah, thank you.
I can see Victor Asafov raising your hands, and it's going to be the last round of questions, and then I will pass mic to David Rose with his feedback.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Victor, so I'm working as a CTO for Ventures. Actually, a few small questions. First one is about your burn rate. So you mentioned you're raising 200,000, and the next one will be in January, in beginning of 2025. So does it mean that your burn rate is around 15K?
It's currently less than that. It's currently about 5K, but
about 5K.
It will increase definitely as soon as we start developing further technology before we can launch in the market. Yes, it will increase.
Okay, and what's the size of your team?
The size of our team right now, the core team that I showed on the slide, no one is getting paid.
Hence the small version. Okay, that's fine. And then you mentioned that 45% of the round will go towards tech development. Could you please highlight what exactly in tech development you're going to deliver in a year?
Yes. So with the work that we're doing with the music technology group, the good thing is that some of the development that we want to implement is already on the late stage, or it's already been done. So the cost of it, there's not going to be much development. In terms of the platform itself, we're currently doing most of it in-house with our tech team, with Eduardo and Juan and Javier. So it's not representing a real cost to actually start implementing several or working on algorithms that will help us reinforcing that AI music coach. So we're really talking a couple of people, really, or one senior mid-weight developer that can actually join us to
okay, I see.
So I think the key is that the team, between the advisors and the founders, there is knowledge enough together with the music technology group to develop to take us all the way to that 1.5 million round in 2025.
Okay. And do you have any partnerships established with any mental health organizations or mental health providers?
Not with organizations. We work with music therapists, individual music therapists.
Okay.
And that's how we're working with them. It is in the pipeline because we would like to start working with some. There's a couple of local entities and the doctors that are using music to treat certain elements of health, like Alzheimer and depression. But we need a couple of months to actually develop ourselves a bit further, and then start a conversation with them. But yeah, the aim is to start talking with hospitals, with health centers, and start working with them.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
David, and it's time for your feedback regarding Ivan's presentation, and just please try to
Of course. First off,
as possible.
Ivan, yeah, well done. Always good fun to go first.
Yeah.
Great job. But yes, my feedback won't be on the company so much, but it will be on the pitch. And like everything, yeah, I mean, one person's feedback is always subjective. Yeah. So just a few things to consider, perhaps. I mean, the exact words you used was, "We've got a brilliant team." Yeah. And yet there it was at the back end of the presentation, yeah, with just LinkedIn links. Yeah, it's an online presentation. Yeah, just a few words about that experience, yeah, could have really helped, yeah, establish your credibility, almost your permission to speak today. Yeah, and would have been significant probably earlier on, yeah, to really get everyone's attention. But yeah, links are great, clearly in a deck mailed out, but think about the situation in which the pitch is being delivered. Linked to that, opening with metrics. While it's fantastic those sort of metrics have turned around, you get cynical people like me that look at metrics every day, and understand that they can often mean many things. Yeah, so a churn rate is very much dependent upon the definition of that churn rate. Yeah, so bringing metrics to the table prior to really understanding the problem, the solution, the actual product, the sector you're playing in, raises more questions than providing answers. Whereby if that slide had come after you'd shape the product and we were able to understand it in the context of the product, would have asked fewer questions. And then finally, and again, it's a variation on a theme, the market positioning between the sort of music education, and the mental health market is clear, but probably just amplify the actual product USPs, from the music tuition piece. That felt that again, that just lacked a little understanding by the end of how perhaps you differ from other music tuition or instrument tuition services. And is there innovation in that sector as well? So again, summarize that. Just think a little bit more about the flow and how questions are answered and questions aren't raised.
Thank you.
You muted.
Am I?
Ivan.
All right. Thank you, David. Thank you, Ivan and his Milum. And it's time to move to our second feature, and it's going to be Christopher Brannan and his Overtone. Christopher, trained as a journalist, reported from over a dozen countries, including Russia, the UK, the USA. He worked for outlets such as the BBC and NBC. And after covering technology, he transitioned to building it. He currently serves as the Chief Product Officer of Overtone, a company that uses refined language models to help businesses understand and navigate the world of online content better.
Thank you so much for that introduction. I am Christopher. I'm Chief Product Officer of Overtone. And even before the rise of generative AI, there was a flood of content. It's going to be an increasing problem. Some of it left, some of it right, some of it good, some of it bad, some of it is super relevant to you, and a lot of it is going to be basically worthless to you. And we can't really tell the difference because we have lost control over content. You open up your phone in the morning and you drown. This is particularly a problem for businesses in the content industry, from publishers to advertisers, where the revenue per word on the internet is falling like a rock. The way that recommendation currently works on the internet is through things like clicks and keywords and shares, all of which are sort of about the content. This shadow of the content here you can see on the page, they're not of the content. So the idea with Overtone is that you can use language models fine-tuned for this human understanding of content to create this sort of data at speed and scale across the entire internet. One great example of this is in Made for Advertising, these sort of sites that aren't really trying to actually write anything. They just want to sort of collect a click and blanket you with ads, and it doesn't work for the advertisers and it doesn't work for the reader. And that is 21% of all ad impressions online go to those sorts of sites. It is a waste. It doesn't work for the brands, and it costs at least $20 billion a year. And that's a very low estimate from a study that was done last summer. So what does Overton do? You have, again, those shares, keywords, clicks, which are all being gamed, algorithm systems being gamed by people. But now with large language models, you can look at things like structure and type and tone. When all you have is a hammer, everything is a nail with those shares, keywords, and clicks. But now you can have that nuanced understanding to really optimize the way things are distributed online. How do we do it? We've trained multiple algorithms, fine-tune large language models. We're not wrapping around the normal ones. To look at things like the factuality, the reporting, the opinionation, the safety of it, et cetera, to say this is one type of story and this is another, and it should be put over here or it should be put over there in order to increase ROI on that content. People like publishers use this for paywall decisions, whereas people and advertisers use this for avoiding large swaths of the internet that's not going to work for them for advertising campaigns. Product, we have our dashboard where people can have those customized feeds and then send them out to either for publishers, sending them out to things like social media or to a paywall tool, or for advertisers, making sure that they don't, that they put their campaigns on what they want to put it on. Not only that, when you have recommendation based on the content itself, you can help distribute in a smarter way because you don't have to wait for anyone to engage with the piece of content to know about it. The way that other algorithms like Facebook or Google do. You can say from the text itself, this is going to do better on social media, or this is going to do better behind a paywall, or this is going to do better with such and such type of ad campaign. The second that it exists, using our predictive modeling that also exists on our dashboard. Who do we work with? So again, I come from publishing, worked all over the place. And really, we've started with publishers as the core group of clients you see there in the left-hand corner, because they have the biggest problem with distributing their content. But the idea is to take that insight from the publishers and bring it to the rest of the ecosystem so that they can optimize their content. And we're already doing that in advertising systems for Sounder, for example, where we are a brand safety filter on all sorts of podcasts, so those podcasts can be further monetized beyond what they would be normally. So again, starting from publishers, and then have moved on to these larger algorithmic systems to take that insight and really use this technology at the scale of the internet. This is important because you can sell the same insight to multiple groups of people. A publisher may have one question about a piece of content, whereas brands in PR or advertising have different questions, and we can provide that insight to all of them based off of the same analysis, essentially, making a tremendous multiplier off of anything our technology does. To recap, so we're just the text itself, don't have to worry about taking people's personal data, don't have to worry about cookies. That also means that insight's available immediately. And because we are already working with publishers, we're not facing the issues that some other language model companies are of sort of bad data that makes the models not really scalable. Where are we going? So we're planning on raising 1.3 million euros or 1.4 million US to help really turbocharge that growth in terms of productizing, making that dashboard as sort of easily usable as possible to the brand space, and then working with larger algorithmic systems. For our round already, we've had a pre-seed round from APX, which is part of the Axel Springer group in Germany. And they're involved in our next round as well. So really looking to sort of wave the flag of MediaTech and say there is value in the MediaTech space. This is the team. So myself from publishing, Reagan spent time in publishing, but also more than a decade in the high ranks of advertising for Google. Philip was an early employee at Lime and is sort of the operations expert. We three are the co-founders and then have our technical team as well as our advisors who are pretty actively involved in helping us shape the business. So we are creating a world that's sort of not just for algorithms, but for humans, the human side of AI. And we'd love for you to be some of those humans with us. Any questions?
Thank you, Christopher. If anyone from the audience has a question, just let me know.
So I can start if you like, and sorry if I missed it. Yeah, the revenue source you have today, where have those early clients or clients come from?
Absolutely. So again, that comes mostly from personal networks, my own in publishing, as well as Reagan's from her sort of long experience in advertising. We've also, there's in that space, the media space, there's several groups that sort of highlight startups. So WANIFRA is a big group of a big media association that's international, and we were highlighted as a sort of a promising startup by them, which has been helpful in terms of getting people in the door to know who we are.
And from those early clients, have they been able to quantify their problem and quantify, therefore, how your platform has addressed that?
Yeah, I mean, so Business Insider Deutschland, for example, which is part of the actual Springer Group as well, was very interested in subscriptions and sort of what articles should go in front of a paywall or which should go behind a paywall. I mean, this is a very manual task. It's an editor reading a piece, but if you can use that data and use that content analytics that we have, you can make that decision much better, and you see something like a 5% increase on subscription rate.
Brilliant, thank you.
I've seen Victor wanted to ask a question.
Yeah, the question is again, well, quite a complex technology. So, do you have a detailed case study on one or two clients for us to review? Because it's difficult to judge on technology just from the pitch, but detailed case study would definitely help to better understand how exactly you attract the client. What's your what's your acquisition cycle? What's the efforts, and how the client can understand, yes, he's really benefiting from technology.
Yeah. I'll do one on sort of a more interesting one on ad safety that is coming out now. So this is Sounder, who is a company that does podcast analytics for monetizing podcasts. So traditionally in this space, you have two podcasts, both of which mention the same exact things: COVID, vaccinations, China, lockdowns, lab leaks, and both have very high views. However, most advertisers won't touch these at all because of what they mentioned. They think, oh God, we have no idea what's in this. We don't want to touch it because of brand safety reasons. So they avoid all of them. However, even though these two mention the same things, they're radically different pieces. The one on the left is Steve Bannon talking about all sorts of stuff. And we can mark specific conspiracy theories there, as well as the way he's talking about it in Opinionation. Whereas in the New York Times, we can look at the reporting levels there and then suggest. And we do this the same. It's not like we have two different standards for the New York Times and Steve Bannon. It's the same standard. And then advertisers can say, yes, we go ahead with the one on the right, meaning that they can get a much lower price on those because no one else wants, or sort of fewer people want to buy it because of what it's mentioning. So they get all that inventory, valuable inventory, for a cheaper price than they otherwise would.
I have a question just in terms of the sales process of your product. So currently, we know the early adopters is kind of coming from your circle, but when you're thinking about pitching it and actually positioning it for B2B SaaS sales, how are you planning to price it? Is it just a subscription service, or it's a much more tailored approach, or?
Yeah, so the way we currently structure it is by price per volume. So one article costs a couple cents, and then that scales down with volume. So if you're looking at 1 million articles, it's a different price. That is becoming a tiered structure as we sort of really productize this on the dashboard. And there will be then different features in that tiered structure. But we actually like the volume pricing because it allows us to work with the advertisers who sort of have more money and then more of ability to pay, while still also serving some of the smaller publishers who find this incredibly useful but don't really have the margins to pay huge amounts of money for it.
If we don't have more questions, Maria, it's time for your feedback. please.
Yes, hi, thank you very much. So I would say that you clearly know how to drive a story and the narrative. So we were very captured straight from the beginning, from the sort of overarching content. My trouble came in, and again, Overtone was a later addition to the online pitch, so I didn't have as much chance to in-depth analyze your pitch deck before. So I'm just going off first impressions because I am honestly hearing it for the first time now. I would say that the technicality of the product does require, so for example, the case studies that you put in the back in the appendix, and that's a very good trick to get them into the speaking part. But honestly, I think we would have appreciated it actually being in the deck, because I think I would have got the product slightly faster. Clearly, it's a very technical niche. Clearly, it's something that does need to be disrupted. I have missed slightly a slide on the moat around the technology, the sort of the really USPs that would differentiate you, because there are a lot of talk about using large language models, and basically how is your technology different, and the fundamental questions there is, I want to hear that you cannot be copied for whatever reason. You provide a technology that is not easily or fastly replicatable. But outside of that, I think it's definitely a niche market. Your go-to-market strategy, high level, does make sense. I think in terms of the numbers also, for the amount of money that you're currently asking, it would have been nice to see the breakdown, how exactly you're planning to distribute it. But that's my top level analysis, that I would have liked to understand the product a little bit earlier on in the presentation, because I think it would have allowed me to focus a bit more going into those technical slides in terms of how you're planning to add value within the product, starting from the publishers and then going through the tiers. So that's my feedback, and I am open to any of my colleagues to add any of theirs if they have any.
So on that, I can send for a breakdown of spending. I can send that along an additional slide.
Yes, that's the challenge. To be honest, that's the challenge, right? So we know that you hold all this information. It's just about kind of flow, and for every pitch, it is slightly different what you lead with. And just building on what David said, we find time and time again, because we're speaking to people who are quite extraordinary in their fields. Actually, Anastasia did you a great favor, because she introduced you while you kind of didn't introduce your credentials and your team's credentials. You kind of brushed over it. So we always talk to the founders that they have so much expertise and knowledge, and it's important to lead with that as well.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Christopher. And that was Overtone. And this is the time for you to meet the father of MP3, Karl-Heinz Brandenburg. And Brandenburg Labs, founded by Professor Brandenburg Labs, has developed a transformative headphone technology that replicates digital sounds.
Okay, hello everybody. Can you see my slide?
Yes, perfectly.
Great, okay. So let's get started. As just introduced, people know me because I'm called the father of MP3, which is a bit inaccurate. I know who else was involved. Anyways, I come from a lot of audio experience in Fraunhofer, at the university in Ilmenau, and now with Brandenburg Labs.
Right.
So let's look what this means. Perfect lifelike audio experience over headphones. You probably have watched the evolution of computer animation from 2D toons to 3D looking figures to what we get in augmented and virtual reality these days. For sound, this has been lacking. Yes, there has been stereo sound, and there the sound is within your head. People have tried for more than 50 years to get that better, more natural sounding, but the result is still something where the sound is around your head, nearby your head. There has been lots of research, but no breakthrough. And building on local in Ilmenau, Cologne, and others, we've now built a proof of concept which finally did this breakthrough. That sound is really like in the real world. Of course, you need to listen to that to believe it, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would not believe it either. For this, we see a number of products in the future, and the main development lines is what we see today. In fact, we demoed our system at a number of conferences to many people from the audio industry, and quite a number of them told us, okay, it looks like a DIY system, but no, we need this now. Please, can we have one of your systems? So that's the first generation, of course, will be streamlined for music production, but that's already going on. The next will be modification of current headphones to get this available for professional applications, for augmented and virtual reality, teleconferencing, and so on. So that will be together with companies who build headphones as a next generation, where we already see quite a number of people who want to spend quite some money on this, and we get to relatively large numbers already. The ultimate vision is what we call PARTY, personalized auditory reality, and that would be fully adaptive, that you have headphones on, and it's like your glasses help you improving your vision. These would improve your listening. If it's too loud, so you still can talk to people nearby. If somebody is yelling, tone them down. If you're on the streets, you get warning signals, but still can listen to music, and so on and so on. So completely AI-based auditory reality. So where are we in the moment? We've been around for 4.5 years. So we had some publicly funded projects. Overall, we had some 2.6 to 3 million euros already in there. We've been at a lot of places internationally, in the US, in Japan, in Europe, all over the place. So we got more than 900 convinced experts. And last show we've been was the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. And there we got a traction of 100% of people told us, oh, this is much better than anything they heard. And that's people who looked around for so-called spatial audio, and they say, no, no, that's way better.
Dear Karl-Heinz, you have 1 minute left. Just then.
Okay, yep. Timing is perfect. In fact, we got a lot of people who really like that, and the whole entertainment industry is going for immersive audio. We got metaverse and so on. We are the only ones who can do that. Market size, we think we got over the next years, long range, it will be even more, $1 billion. We got a business models where we already got the okay that people will buy it for these numbers. And we are looking now for a seed round of 5 million or more. We got a team of now 17 people, including our CFO with long experience with startups, our CTO, who is a genius working on all these topics, and our communications officer, Franziska, together with Sammy, our business manager. That's it.
Yep, thank you. And this is the questions time.
Hi, Karl-Heinz, this is Pascal. I'm from SetMixer, one of the companies that Raw Ventures was so gracious to support. I've worked a lot with spatial audio, so I'm really interested in this technology. Can you tell me in what way is it better than what is currently on the market?
Okay. We use acoustics of the room we are in and fast and accurate head tracking. And our demo is that people listen to a real audio source, like some loudspeakers, and then it switched to the headphones and they don't even believe it. They can walk around the room and we get asked over and over again, why don't you switch on the headphones? We say, take off the headphones and say, oh. And again, people from the field have told us nobody else can do that.
Okay, that's great. Thanks so much. But what I'm looking for is, in what way does this solve a problem? Like, in what way are people currently experiencing that what they have is not good enough and they need something better? And in what way is it then better for those people?
They currently buy the most expensive stuff which is available in this area. That's a sign that they want to have better things, but they are not good enough. And from the professionals, we got things like, yes, Emil Berliner Studios, they've searched for 2 years to find something like that, and ours is the first one which fulfills their requirements. That's a professional field. We think for home use, it will be similar, that you can sit there and you have the same sound as from your expensive loudspeaker array, but it's from headphone.
Thank you.
Victor, please.
Well, because you have a problems of demoing your technology, because you can understand that I cannot understand the technology unless I am in the proper room with the proper headphones with the proper settings. So the only way for me to experience the technology is to go to some exhibition or showcase or to your office or whatever. How do you see your sales cycle? How do you showcase the technology? How do you persuade the customers that they have to spend 1,000 euros to acquire your equipment?
For the moment, we have more than enough, more than we could do, requests from professional recording studios and such, from New York via Belgium to Berlin and Munich to Switzerland and so on. Next generation, I think this has to go through the high fidelity stores where people listen to the loudspeakers there anyway, and then they can get told, by the way, you can buy these loudspeakers costing 20,000 euros, but you can get the same quality with headphones for 500 or 1,000 euros, or perhaps in the beginning a little bit more even. But that has to go through regular retail stores where it can be demoed.
Mm-hmm. So you're kind of following the high fidelity speakers sales cycle. You'll go the same route.
Yeah, for some of the markets. We have other markets where people want that as well, like museums, and for conferencing systems. But yes, for the classical high fidelity market, we follow that route.
And how many new pilots or installations or commercial customers you expect to get within after raising the round, like within this 5 million?
Yeah, and it's going to be the last question, just to be clear.
Yeah, we want to get to a round where we get enough money so we can work with headphone manufacturers which modify their headphones to our requirements. This is already talked about, so we know whom to talk to. We have an idea how much that will cost. And before that, we'll do just a few pilot customers, 10 or 20, because in the moment, we still need some work then to streamline the process of measuring the room and everything. So that should be much easier than it is today.
Thank you. And this is the time for feedback, David, and this is your turn.
Okay, I'm up again. Yeah, so So first off, once again, thank you. Let's start actually with the opposite feedback from previously, that actually the opening slide establishing both the proposition and your credentials is perfect. Yeah, as in you had authority. We all clearly acknowledged you as an expert in the field from that moment, and that grabbed our attention. And also as Victor elaborated on, it's hard, isn't it, when something is purely audible, to actually do it justice through any words that you can write on a page. So I think that clearly makes it a challenge to explain the unique elements, other than clearly is of a quality that is significantly better than in the market, and hence the questions. And if I'd have added to those questions, it would have all been about that route to market. So I think that's probably the place to go back and look at the pitch, and whether you can bring any more certainty or definition to the steps that you would need to take, or the feedback you would need to take. So for instance, were you to go into the video games market, where there's implications both from a software and a hardware perspective, decisions you may make about conversations with format holders like Microsoft or Sony on a licensing basis, or again licensing to third-party or OEM manufacturers of spatial headphones and sound cards, then just giving some detail that shows some understanding of that potential market, which could be a really lucrative one, would, I think, just have helped the pitch to give greater confidence in the business development route you were taking. Anyone else?
Yes, to be honest, I was going to add to what David said. With technologies like that, it's very interesting because the applications could be very wide-reaching, but the challenge is always to find the kind of the first narrow niche that you can really occupy and make commercially successful, and then in parallel or step-by-step expand. So that was my note to the pitch, that it was trying to address a huge part of the area, and it just raised immediately questions whether you can do it with the current team, that they would need a much bigger team to address all those questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, David. Thank you, Maria. And thank you, Karl-Heinz, and your Brandenburg Labs. And our last feature, Andrew Gislov and Emonomy. And Emonomy is AI platform for emotion-driven brand marketing. Seems like it's what everyone needs.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, everyone. Great to be here. Great to be surrounded by this really awesome startups, and it was really nice to listen to the feedback to the startups. I changed a few slides almost accordingly to the feedback I heard. So my name is Andrew. I am a neuroscientist who has been studying consumer behavior for more than 10 years. For the last 8 years, I'm in advertising world. I've been doing different businesses, made even one exit in this space. And I'm going to tell you, I will start from the interesting things about this market, because it's essential to understand why Emonomy is something what can be really big. So you know this global ad spend, but it's a pretty big and pretty major market, going to be around $1 trillion in a few years. But actually, this is a combination of two parts. So global ad spend is distributed across performance marketing and brand marketing. Performance marketing is something what can bring revenue like tomorrow. Brand marketing is something what can bring revenue in the long term, which requires brand awareness and other things. And historically, the distribution between these two spans, performance and brand, was around 70% to 30%. 70%, of course, in performance marketing spans. However, right now the situation is changing, and budgets are flowing to brand marketing from performance marketing. That's very interesting to see how it became different. And it happens because of the cookies sunset and ad blockers rise, which makes performance marketing much less efficient. The most interesting here that the portion that out of the performance marketing, there is a so-called performance marketing analytics market. It's around $5 billion, and it represents around 1% out of overall performance marketing ad spends. But interestingly, in brand marketing, much less than 1% is spent to analytics. So you can see here the demand for brand marketing analytics, how much the market is ready to pay for brand marketing analytics. And this is how the real market looks like, less than 1%. So this is something really, really blue. Why it's so? Because there is no relevant data to analyze. In performance marketing, which is aimed to increase revenue, you can analyze clicks and conversion rate. But when you have to increase brand awareness, which is measured, let's say 1 month or even 2 or 3 months after you made your media budget spendings, you don't know what to measure. Like clicks are not relevant here, and the conversions are not relevant. And it was so all the way long. However, 2 years ago or 3 years ago, the major players started to think seriously about this issue. So, and the answer, what to measure, is attention. The leading company in the media space called Dentsu, they started the so-called attention economy project, aimed to evaluate the attention, whether attention signals can be available for brand marketing analytics. And then the leading programmatic platform Teats launched their project. Then other events happened, lots of them. Integral Ed Science started partnership with Lumen. PricewaterhouseCoopers proven that it works. Double Verify invest heavily in this space. And Mars, Senior Director Consumer Insights, believes that everyone talks about attention economy right now. We can see that attention measurement, attention economy is something really what's on the hype and what grows right now. And we can see how this industry of a brand marketing analytics, the attention economy, started to grow. We can expect it to grow to almost around $4 or $5 billion in the coming year. Why we believe it's going to grow? We saw completely the same growth in performance marketing analytics 7 years ago. It has the same cycles. There was an industry introduction of industry growth, shakeout at maturity of the market. And we are here right now, somewhere between industry introduction and industry growth. We are in Emonomy one of the first 10 companies who tackled this trend in attention economy and attention measurement. So what we're doing? The brands need to be sticky. That they bombard us with ads across different channels. And the vast majority of the ads are perceived as informational noise. In Emonomy, we analyze consumer emotions and consumer attention toward different ads and media channels through more than 5 million people across the globe. And based on this data, we deliver to brand information how to allocate their media spends across different channels, audiences, and the ads themselves. Information which we deliver helps them to understand where a specific ad in a specific channel like TikTok or Instagram going to be perceived as informational noise or as something relevant for consumers. And this media reallocations leads to up to 2x increase in return on investments.
Andrea, you have one minute left.
Yeah, of course. We charge 15% out of this ad budget savings. And for the big corporations with at least $100 million in media spend, it represents a $3 million per one client. So you see $3 million per one client, multiplied by 500 corporations with these budgets from 5 major markets and 10% market share represents more than $700 million opportunity in 2027. Since our launch, we helped to deliver ads to 100 million consumers across the globe. And as you can see, the best corporations, the best brands in the world already believe that emotions are the new frontier in advertising. So if you want to learn more about how Emonomy transforms emotions into revenue, I'm happy to answer your questions, and it's really, really good to be here in this event. Thank you for your attentions. Thank you for your emotions. I'm yours for answering questions.
Thank you, Andrew. It reminds me, it was this movie, Minority Report, was a very, very personalized advertising that was reading emotions of the user as well. So it's the future is here already.
Yeah.
Do we have questions?
Yes, hi. Thank you so much for your presentation, Andrew. I just wanted to double check. So from what you described, I'm trying to understand how you are productizing it, because to me, it sounded very much like an approach of a very boutique, very smart agency that it does very tailor-made brand marketing analytics campaigns and then suggests it. How are you productizing it? Because fundamentally, that's a big question. How are you going to make it scale?
Well, it's completely scalable because there are no people involved in analytics. So everything is AI based, and it's not like a service or consulting and so on. In general, we can say that we analyze consumer attention at a big scale for different media channels, for different audience groups, for different video ads, and automatically deliver this data to our clients. So no humans involved in this process, only salespeople and business developers, let's say. Have I answered your question? Maybe I didn't get it fully.
Yes, you have.
Okay.
But the question is, you mentioned 3 main channels. There was TikTok, there was Instagram, and there was Meta, right? The Facebook. Yeah. Do you track any other channels?
Yes, of course. So actually, it was just to simplify on the slides, of course. So, but in general, it works across all major platforms and open web. The channels which we do not work with is television. In theory we can do it, but in the coming years we don't have it in our product roadmap, and radio formats. So in general, all the channels available in a digital world are available, mobile and tablets and laptop.
Hi, Andrew. It's Victoria.
Hello, Victoria.
CEO of Raw Ventures. Can you, interested to, if you could expand the process, how you actually analyze the consumer emotions? How they're performing? Is the metrics, or what's the process behind? If you could share a bit more with us on that, please. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So as an input from advertiser, we have audience description for the people on whom they want to launch their advertising campaign. Let's say females in London from 20 to 30 years old with some specific interest. Media channels, they're considering, let's say, Facebook and YouTube. And video ads they gonna place in these channels. Let's say video ad number 1 and ad number 2. What happens next? We find people who met criteria of this audience, and we ask them to spend some time in their own YouTube watching whatever they want in YouTube. While they started to watch things in their own YouTube, we switch on the cameras at their laptop, and a number of our computer vision algorithms start to record their head movements and eye movements and facial expressions and predict whether they process information and they're gonna remember what they saw, or it's gonna be informational noise. Of course, they're aware that this webcam is switched on. They're getting paid for it. We call it browse to earn. You just spend some time watching YouTube or Facebook and you're getting paid for your data sharing with us. So the person watched his own or her own YouTube, but the ads inside this YouTube are controlled by us. So the person is exposed not to the ads which Google want to show, but to our ads. Then the person goes to her own Facebook, and in Facebook there are friends and posts whatever else, but the ads are also controlled by us. So we, based on this data, we understand that for 1,000 exposures of the ads, which they're gonna buy in Facebook or in YouTube, there are gonna be 700 attentions in YouTube, 500 emotions, 300 smiles, and 100 recalls. While in Facebook, the funnel will look in some different way. And based on the cost per 1,000 exposures, cost per million, what is called in marketing, we calculate cost per attention, cost per emotion, cost per smile, and cost per recall for a specific ad in a specific media channel. They understand that the cost per recall in Facebook gonna be $5 and in YouTube gonna be $25, 5 times more. So they don't have to waste their budgets in one channel for one ads, they have to allocate it in another way.
Sorry, David, I've changed device. You take responsibility for building those market research cohorts, in all territories, or is that something that you outsource?
Sorry, due to tech issues, I wasn't able to understand your question at all.
No, it wasn't just in my laptop. It was for everyone like that. David, I believe that you will have to repeat.
Can you hear me?
Not so well.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, David, unfortunately, it doesn't work. You can send me your question as a text, and I will read it for Andrew. And while David texting, oh, Victor has a question, and it's
yes. So the question to Andrew, yes. So you described how you're going to test customers' assets. From what I heard, for me, it's like it's still like a focus group, maybe with some bit of AI technology, but it's still a focus group. So how do you believe that it's scalable, and how does it work with your previous statement that it's completely user interaction free? So you are prepared to be scaled for any given number of customers, because finding the focus group, setting our focus group, and tracking them, well, tracking may be done automatically, but setting them up, finding them, that's quite a challenge.
Yeah, of course. So this is for sure, this is marketing research. We can call it somehow for focus groups, of course. The thing is that the first thing to mention that no one in the world can do the focus groups I'm talking about with analytics of consumer emotions toward ads in different media channels. And when I've been talking about AI and automation, of course, people are involved here as a consumers. But the whole analytics and the finding of the right people is automated. So with more or less zero internal cost, I can deliver to you data from 25 markets like tomorrow due to automation of the whole process. So of course, this is, let's say, focus group, but this is how focus groups should look like in the 21st century, let's say. Have I answered your question?
Yeah, yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, and as for scalability, so just the last thing to say that we should the bottlenecks that possibly that can be there is access to the audience, right? And the scalability of our neural networks and the further analytics. So we have a partnership with a global panels, and that's why we can deliver data from 50 major markets in the days, excluding China because they have some specific data requirements. Our neural networks are completely scalable. So far, we can do thousands of advertising campaigns per day.
Can I just ask one question, which how much are you actually asking for this investment round?
Well, actually, we do not raise money right now. So we can talk with investors and so on. But in general, we're not fundraising right now. We focus on business development and believe that right now the market for investments is pretty bad. And we'd better get money from clients, not from investors. But we can consider checks up to $1 million.
Okay, that leads me to the question. So what's your current, are you revenue generating currently?
Yeah, we generate some small revenue around $20,000 per month. We have a super small burn rate. super small, because we do not pay salaries or pay the small salaries to some people. We have a pretty awesome team. We got ex-senior vice president global partnerships from Nielsen. We got ex-Simeon Nokia in the team for business development. We got a number of PhDs in the team and engineers. So we're are pretty fine right now with whom we have in the team. Of course, we can expand it a little bit, but in general, we're not, let's say, dying. And we open to discussions. However, it's not what we're focused on right now.
Maria, and this is time for feedback, and please just literally a minute.
Yes, thank you very much for the presentation. Clearly, an education in the importance of brand marketing and the kind of, you set out very early on the kind of the challenge and the niche with which we are going to you're going to play. I think that did sort of cut into the product description time. So definitely there is some thinking that you can do there, just how to compress it so that you can deliver that, so that you leave yourself more time to describe the fundamentals of the product, which are clearly very interesting. For me, and I think from my question you got it as well, for me it read like a very high touch agency service. So clearly there's some refinement in the pitch that could be made there to show the automation, the technicality of the product. I'm always a little bit skeptical when people say, okay, we're not raising money right now. I completely understand you, but I think for the purposes of speaking to investors, always be raising ABR or whatever. Maybe it's a new term. So that would have been nice to see. Also actual case studies of pilots that you have done or actual clients. Obviously, you don't have to mention a name, but just real life example of how your technology was used. And you mentioned ROI improvements on investments. If you could show that being validated, that's always a crucial point, because otherwise just a lot of skepticism on those numbers. And in terms of pricing, I like how you align yourself with the clients, that you take a percentage of the amount they save, but it feels like that as you scale, that might potentially get you into trouble. So in terms of pilot clients, absolutely fine, but I think on the pricing strategy, there is some thinking that you will have to do there just to standardize it. So
Thank you.
That's my feedback.
Thank you for your feedback. 100% agree. Happy to answer these things on in a longer call.
Yeah. And if anybody else has anything to add.
Oh, we don't have time for that. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Andrew and Emonami. And we're grateful to our amazing pitchers. Well done, everyone. Following the initial pitch, our investment analysts create detailed reports on companies and assess potential investment opportunities. The process extends beyond the pitch, which is why we maintain ongoing communication. Stay in touch. Dear audience, thank you for being here today with us, and join our community in Discord. Apply for next online pitching in February, and let's shape the future of MediaTech together. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.